All right, hello everybody. Welcome. All right, so just checking, can everybody hear me okay? You can either leave me something in the chat or you can just unmute. Loud and clear, great. All right, super. All right, I'm assuming everybody can see me as well. I'm gonna lower the camera a little bit. There we go. All right, so I think we've got a few folks who are new, at least to my classes, which is awesome, welcome. Or maybe you've come before and it's just been a while, or I haven't seen you online. Either way, welcome. And what I want everyone to know, whether you're new or you've been coming for a while, is the way I design the class is we move from easier to more challenging, and from simpler to more complex, and from, you could say, more still to more movement, generally speaking. So some of these classes are a little bit different than others, but generally that's what's happening. So what that means is I've been teaching a long time, and this is a problem that I've always had with Vinyasa flow classes, is there's a tension between how do I teach people the postures and then also get them to be able to flow. Because if we're flowing around, then there's no time to teach the postures. And then if we're teaching the postures and we're holding them, then we're not flowing. All right. So this has been my solution. So what this means is as we go from simpler to more complex, or easier to more difficult, I want you to find an edge. And your edge is where you feel challenged personally. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry about what I'm saying. The other options are, if you're finding a challenge with something that's simple and easy, then you can stay with that variation throughout the class. So when I'm talking about a more difficult variation, you just don't do that variation. You do the simpler and easier variation, okay? And so if you do that, if you follow that, almost anybody can do this class. I mean, there are exceptions. If you have really bad injuries, you might need to skip it. But generally speaking, if you understand how to modify and you stick with simpler modifications, then almost anybody can do this class. Not everything, but that's not important. We're not here to do everything. It's not a performance. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to practice. We're here to make mistakes in a controlled way, in an intelligent way, so we can learn from those mistakes, all right? All right, unless there are any questions, we're gonna go ahead and get started. As usual, we start with a little bit of breathing. Breathing is very, very important for a practice like this. So inhaling, you fill the belly first, then the ribs, and then the upper chest lifts up. And as you exhale, you just reverse that. And that is called by several names: three-part yogic breathing, complete yogic breath, or in Sanskrit, dirgha. Okay, so we have that three-part breathing. Very deep, very full, inhales and exhales, both active. And then once you've established that, you begin to constrict the throat. And this is like fogging a mirror. So you're not sure what I mean by constrict the throat. It's like you're fogging a mirror, like you're trying to slow your breath down or make your breath hot. So that's both on the inhale and the exhale. You want to make that sound. It's not a sniffing sound. It's not like that. It comes from here. And you can do it with your mouth open or closed. It doesn't matter. So we want to make that sound both on the inhale and the exhale. We want to keep the three-part breathing going. And generally, we're going to keep those two techniques running throughout the class, okay? So let's continue with that breathing. We're going to come forward into a tabletop position. And then we begin a very simple exercise called cat-cow. So inhale, the tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head comes up. Exhale, tailbone tucks, back rounds, crown of the head comes down. Good. So just back and forth. Gently warming up the spine, muscles in the back, giving everything a good stretch. Good, so maybe 3 to 5 of those. Once you feel that you've warmed up pretty well doing that, you come back to neutral, bring those knees together, maybe the hands a little wider. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, hips down to one side. Inhale through center and exhale, hips to the other side. Okay, so each time you drop the hips, you want to feel a little stretch in the waist or the outside of the hip somewhere, okay? Just warming everything up, waking everything up. Good, so again, after a few repetitions, we should feel pretty well warmed up. Then we come back to neutral. We tuck those toes, lift the hips, and we come back into our first downward dog. So we want to do the same thing in down dog that we did in those last two, which is just warming up, getting things moving, stretching things out, waking them up. So this is a very common move. You've probably done it before. Call it walking the dog. So we're just walking back and forth, bending one knee and then the other, pressing the opposite heel to the ground. And then we can also do things like roll over the toes, circle the ankles. Okay, so we can get a little deeper into those other joints in the body. And then once you feel warmed up, come into your full downward dog. So to do that, you want your hands shoulder width, fingers spread wide, and the 4 pads under your knuckles firmly planted in the ground. Mic feedback. Is anyone else getting mic feedback? Not having any trouble on this end, but have you muted your microphone? Yeah, you might want to mute your microphone if you haven't already. Yeah, sorry, I can't really help you with that. I'm not sure what's going on your end. It looks like it might just be you, Nura. So maybe try a different speaker if you have another speaker available, or try changing the volume. Not really sure. Okay, so sorry about that. I'm just not sure how to help you on this end. Okay, so here we are, and we come into our full expression of down dog. And okay, Nura, we'll see you in a second. From our down dog, let's go ahead and walk our feet to our hands. And we'll come into a brief ragdoll here. So we're dangling, hanging out. You can let your hips sway a little bit, let your knees bend, nod your head, shake your head. Just loosening everything up, waking everything up again. And as we warm up, we also want to pay attention to how we feel in our body. So some days we feel strong and vigorous. Other days we might feel kind of fragile and weak. And we want to honor that. That might change which options I take during the class today. All right, with our arms relaxed, let's inhale, we'll roll ourselves up. So standing, stacking ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels. Let's take a moment, just check the face and jaw, make sure that we've softened these muscles. We aren't clenching the jaw or making a face. If you are going to make a face, I suggest a smile. They've done studies and they've shown that smiling generally makes you feel better, whereas frowning does just the opposite. So become aware of your facial expressions and either keep a neutral facial expression or paint a smile on your face. Let's take the shoulders. We'll draw them forward, up, back, and down. We'll just do that 3 times. And again, we're just noticing if there's any tension there in the shoulders. There is, we try and let that tension go. And then do 3 in the opposite direction as well, okay? All right, Good. Now we'll begin with a standing back bend, just a nice simple standing back bend. We inhale, draw the arms up, touch the palms, and we try and lengthen the front of the body. So we're lifting the breastbone up, and then once we're up as much as we can go, we can begin coming back some, but it's this up and back action rather than straight back. And this keeps length in not just the front side of the body, but the back side as well. You might feel a little bit of compression in your back, and that's fine as long as it's within range of what is safe for your body. Good. Now let's inhale. We'll come back through center. As we exhale, we come forward and down into the forward fold. So let's bend our knees very deeply. We're going to place our chest and belly against the thighs. We'll let the neck soften here. See if you can get the palms flat. Then keep your belly against your thighs and begin to straighten your legs. And what I want you to feel is a stretch back here in the hamstrings. So those muscles in the back of your thigh. Good. With the next inhale, let's come to our fingertips. Now we're really trying to lengthen the spine. And you might feel more comfortable with your hands at your shins, and that's perfectly fine as well. Then as we exhale, we'll plant the hands and step to our first plank. Last week we did a lot of these, right? So we're not going to do nearly as many this time, but let's look at those three things that I pointed out last week, which is the shoulders, collapsing in the shoulders. We don't do that. We engage. The hips collapsing into the back by not engaging the abdomen. So we're going to keep those hips lifted, but we're going to be mindful about not lifting the hips too high. Okay? So we want to avoid lifting those hips too high. I keep seeing these little messages pop up, and I'm not sure where they're coming from or if what's going on. So apologies if I keep coming over to look at the screen, but they disappear by the time I get there. All right, so we don't want this. We don't want this. We're right here, like a plank of wood, just nice and straight. Let's drop our knees for the first push-up. And what we'd like to do is keep those shoulders engaged, and we'll take a nice deep breath, and we'll exhale. We'll come down halfway, and the elbows hug our ribs. We create a right angle at the elbow. All right? Take a breath here, and with the next exhale, come all the way onto your belly. Release the tops of the feet to the mat and bring them together. Then bring the shoulders down away from the ears and the shoulder blades on your back. And as you inhale, lift up into Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose. Let the neck be a natural extension of the spine. As you exhale, lower back down. Tuck those toes, press back to tabletop, and then back to the downward facing dog. Okay, so hopefully you got all of those. Now that you've learned those postures, we'll begin to add more difficulty and complexity. Let's inhale to our toes, look between the hands. As we exhale, we step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Let's inhale to our standing back bend, which we already learned. And then we'll grab the left wrist with our right hand. And as we exhale, we send our hips to the left as we pull our arm to the right. So we're coming into this pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Ardha means half, Chandra means moon. So it's a half moon pose. Okay, I'm lengthening, just like I did in the back bend. I'm coming up and over. So I'm really stretching and lengthening that left side. Let's inhale back to center. We grab the opposite wrist and same thing, up and over. Now the common mistake in this posture looks something like this, where I begin in an attempt to go further down, because I think down is better, I roll that shoulder forward. So let's avoid that. We keep everything stacked and just move sideways. Good. We inhale back to center, and then we exhale to the forward fold once again. Inhale to half lift, and then I exhale to the top of my push-up for plank pose once again. Okay. Now, you can do your knees down if that's appropriate for you. You might have an injury, might be your first class in a while, you might feel kind of weak. But if we keep the knees up, we want to do the same action in the arms. So that would look like this. Take a deep breath, shift your weight forward, exhale halfway down. Okay, exact same arms as before. Then inhale, straighten the arms and the legs. The knees come off the ground. Okay, so the legs are active. It's not this. All right, I'm up. And then exhale, and I come straight back to the downward dog. Again, I can use the tabletop as a transition if that is where I am with my practice. Let's learn one more variation. We inhale to the toes, between the hands. And exhale, we step, jump, float to the front edge of the mat. So inhale up to our back bend. And then we exhale to Ardha Chandrasana, pulling over to the right side. Inhale to center. Exhale, pulling to the left side. Inhale back to center. And then exhale as we sit back into the chair pose, Utkatasana. So notice my knees are over my heels. It's like I'm sitting back in a chair. And then I don't want to fold over. I want to stay upright as I sit back in my chair. Again, I can soften my face, my jaw, my shoulders, because tensing those areas is not going to help do this very awkward posture. Let's take a deep breath here, and as we exhale, we release into the forward fold. And with the next inhale, if you like, if you know your arm balances, you can come into crow pose, Bakasana. And then as you exhale, you jump back to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. And then exhale, push up on your way out. Again, optional. Okay, so I want you to find some challenge, but not too much. From the rest of the class, I will be skipping the vinyasas and the push-ups because otherwise I get out of breath and I can't teach the class anymore. Okay, so hopefully you're not talking like me and you're doing the breathing just as I taught you at the beginning. That way you won't run out of breath. All right, deep breath in to the toes. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Inhale up to standing and exhale, hands to your heart. All right, so we're going to take a look at Vrikshasana, the tree pose. This is probably a pose you've done before, but if not, we'll go over it. I shift weight to my left foot, bend my right knee. Okay, then I place my right foot on either the ankle, the calf, or onto the inside of my thigh. The only place I don't put it is on my knee. I don't want to press on my knee sideways like that. Okay, so this is tree pose. And if you would like to grow some branches and leaves, you can do that on your next inhale. Two things to help you with balance are keeping your eyes on one point called a drishti, and then also keeping your breath even and steady. I like to say steady breath and steady eyes equal a steady pose. So if your pose is not steady, focus on your breathing and keeping your eyes on one point. Let the pose take care of itself. Good. Exhale. Let's bring that hands and leg down. And we'll do the other side. So shift weight to the right foot. Again, I have a few options for that leg. Choose the one that is slightly challenging for you, not too easy. Notice if you're choosing options where you can do everything perfectly, and if you're scared of messing up. Go ahead and mess up. That's what a practice is all about. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do something stupid, but challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to fall. Again, you can grow some branches and leaves. Might make it a little more challenging, and don't worry, we'll do more challenging variations of this posture as we go. Good. Let's exhale that down. Inhale, arms up, standing back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift or crow. Exhale, bottom of your push-up. Again, I am going to skip and go right back to down dog. You're welcome to do that, but again, I'm doing it because I'm teaching, not because I don't like doing push-ups. Okay, let's take a look at our next set. We'll bring our feet to touch here. We're going to inhale the right leg up and back into three-legged dog pose. The foot flexes, the toe, knee, and hip point down. Few common mistakes in this posture look like this. I don't lift the leg up nearly as much as I can. I bend the knee instead of keeping the leg straight. I point the toes instead of flexing them. I lift the right hip in an attempt to lift the leg higher. Okay, so please check your pose. Make sure you aren't doing any of those things. Take a deep breath, exhale, and lunge. Drop the back knee down. Notice that my right heel is directly under my knee, okay? My hips are as far forward and down as I can. Then I drop down into this position. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping ahead. So never mind, we'll do that in a minute. All right, let's go ahead and lunge, and then we'll turn to this position. Okay, just a wide leg forward fold. And today we're not going to hold it. I'm not going to worry about the alignment of this posture. Let's just bend our knees side to side, and we'll slowly sink down as far as we can, stretching the inside of the thighs, what's called the groin. Okay, so I'm slowly coming further and further down, getting into the groin muscles more and more and more. Okay, then let's come down to the left side of our mat. We have the right leg straight, foot is flexed, toes and knee point up, and this is called Skandasana. Now there are a few positions for the arms, and you can choose the one you like. One looks like this, hands at the heart. You can do this, something a little bit fancier, and then you can also bind the leg, the bent leg, which looks like that. Okay, then you roll that shoulder back. The one I recommend you choose is the one that gives you the deepest stretch, and again, maybe challenges you a little bit. The bind might be too much for some people, but for others, it might be just about right. Again, we're stretching into the groin here for the most part. All right, good. Let's release Skandasana. We'll come back to our wide leg forward fold. Inhale to a lunge, and we exhale back to downward dog, taking a vinyasa on the way. Again, if you need to skip, skip. But if you don't skip them just because I'm skipping them. All right, feet together. We inhale left leg up and back. Three-legged dog pose, right? Foot is flexed, toes, knee, and hip point down. I'm lifting that leg as high as I can without lifting the hip, isolating the glutes. Let's take a deep breath, and we exhale and lunge. We turn into a wide leg forward fold. I'm going to turn around just so that you can see me. And then we, again, begin the same process. Slowly sinking down. Since we've already done this, you might find you can get into some different areas by doing slightly different movements. Okay. Eventually, we're sinking all the way down onto the right side of the mat. Left leg is straight, foot is flexed, toes pointing up. Again, hands at heart, one option. Do this with the arms, and then finally I can bind the leg. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself a little bit, but at the same time, we don't want to overdo the challenge. So if I'm breathing like this, something like that, then maybe it's a little bit more than I can manage today. All right, beautiful. We're going to inhale back to our wide leg forward fold, and we exhale and vinyasa back to the down dog. You might see me turn. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just doing that so I can stay facing the camera. All right, beautiful. Now let's look at side plank. Okay, so we're going to come down to our hands and knees, and let's come on over onto our right side for this first side plank. So I take the right elbow and I place it directly under my shoulder. I take everything else and I straighten it out. So it's like I'm pressed between two panes of glass, okay? Now, I can do this with my legs straight, which is going to be more challenging, or I can bend my knees. I'm going to leave that up to you, which variation you choose. I engage the shoulder. Once again, I'm not collapsing down. These muscles are active. That's going to protect that joint. Take my hand to the hip, and with my inhale, I lift up. Okay, if I can, I extend the arm up. Now again, I can do it like this as well. Now, if I feel unstable with the legs straight, I can take the top foot and move it forward. All right, and you can do that when we come to the straight arm variation as well. Try looking up at the thumb. Good. Exhale, come on down, and we'll come over to the other side. Same exact thing. Okay. So again, legs straight or bent, but everything is lined up. Everything is stacked up. Heels, knees, hips, shoulders, unless you're bringing that top foot forward, which again, you're welcome to do. This elbow is not here, it's not here, it's not back here. It's directly under the shoulder, and the shoulder is engaged. It's going to give us the best biomechanics for this pose. Palm is down. Okay, hand on the hip. We inhale, we lift up. Side plank. Now, a lot of people do this in side plank. It's not called side bow. It's called side plank. Everything is lined up straight as best as you can. Okay, this is easier. That's why it's not about lifting your hips as much as you can. It's about creating that straight line. If you can, just doing your best. Taking a few breaths here. Good. Exhale, come back down. You can either vinyasa back to down dog or go straight back. This is kind of like an extra vinyasa. So if it's too much, just skip it. All right, beautiful. From here, let's go ahead and inhale to our toes. We'll exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. We're inhale all the way up to standing. And let's exhale our hands to the heart. Now, if tree pose was already challenging for you, feel free to repeat tree pose. To take things a step further, we'll bend that knee and we'll bring the foot into the hip crease on this left side. Okay, so this is a lotus. This is a half lotus that we're doing with the legs. So we're coming into a half lotus tree pose. Okay, you could stay here, bring your arms up, but for a little bit more challenge, you reach around and try and grab that big toe. Okay, can you do that? Maybe not. It's fine if you can't. And then this hand can stay here, or usually you would reach it up. Good. So we're still balancing, but now we're adding a little bit of more challenge to our flexibility. This might be too much, and that's fine. You know what to do. You do tree again. All right, exhale. Let's release that pose. And we'll do the other side. So just weight to the right foot. Left knee bends. Again, I take that foot, place it into that half lotus. Maybe that doesn't feel right today. Perfectly fine. I skip it. Okay? Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, but don't beat your body into submission either. Maybe the bind is too much. Okay, then you can just keep your hand at your heart, or you can raise both arms up. Good. So again, one thing leads to another. We'll be adding to this later on, but let's just see if we can do this for now. Good. Next exhale, let's release. We inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow, or maybe even handstand, and we exhale to the bottom of our push-up, making our way back to down dog. Okay, so bring those feet to touch. We inhale the right leg up and back, and then exhale, we lunge, just like before. I jumped ahead, okay? So this is lizard pose. Drop the knee down, and I come down to my forearms if I am able. Okay, now I'm going to turn. Again, you don't need to turn. I'm turning just for the camera so that you can see me. All right, so we're here right now. This is the traditional lizard position. Now, let's see if we can take it a step further. Now, you may not even be down on your elbows. You might be here. Some people have difficulty coming down. But if we're down, see if you can take your right leg and put it over your right shoulder like this. Then take the hand to the ground like so. Notice my elbow is bent. Do the same on the other side. Okay, look forward and try and lift your right leg up as much as you can. So the heel is not touching the ground, right? And again, that might be too much, but the key is to just do your best. To try, again, find some challenge, find something you can't do. You notice my leg isn't straight, so that's something I can't do yet. I'm challenged here. Good. Let's release that foot down. I'm again going to turn for the camera because of what we're going to do next. All right, let's bring that back heel to the ground, and I'll inhale up into a warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. All right, so let's go over this pose real quick. Front foot and knee point straight ahead. Knee lunges directly over the heel. This thigh comes as close to parallel with the ground as possible. Left leg is stick straight, heel is on the ground, and the toes can point forward or angle in slightly toward the front of the room. The arms are reaching out like I'm trying to touch both the front and back walls simultaneously. So let's create a little flow here. We'll inhale up into this position. This is called stupa or temple. And then as we exhale, we come into warrior facing the opposite direction. This is called the flying warrior. Inhale up and exhale to warrior again. Good. Let's do a few more reps of that. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of your push-up, making your way back to down dog. All right. So let's take a look at the other side. Feet touch. Inhale, three-legged dog pose. Exhale, lunge. And drop down into the lizard, if you can, on your forearms. Right? You probably feel stretch in your left leg, maybe the inside of the thigh, the back of the thigh, maybe even the outside of the thigh. You can get any of those areas where there's tension there. Now, let's take that leg and see if we can put that leg on like we're putting on a backpack. Again, I bend these arms, almost like I'm at the bottom of a push-up. Okay, so my arms are bent, kind of low, like I'm at the bottom of a push-up. Then I might take my left leg and see if I can straighten it and lift it. All right, so I'm lifting it up. It's resting on my arm. I take a few breaths like that. All right, then bring that foot back down. Let's straighten and drop that back heel. And we inhale up into another warrior two. So this should be very basic for you guys if you're doing this class. I imagine you've done this pose a million times. So I'm not going to belabor the point. All right, but just check your alignment. Let's inhale up and we exhale, warrior two, opposite direction. Good. Inhale and exhale. Good. A few more times with the breath. When we sink down, we want to feel those legs working and stretching. Okay. Take a nice deep breath here and exhale, cartwheel, bottom of your push-up, making your way back to down dog. Okay, we're in downward dog. Let's take a look at a modified side plank. Now again, if that first side plank was already challenging, maybe you stay there. Otherwise, let's bring those feet to touch. And then we roll over toward the right hand, stacking the heels. And then we drop the bottom knee. All right, then I lift this arm up. Now I'm in a straight armed side plank with support. The bottom knee is dropped, okay? This is one way of doing it. And to be honest with you, this is a really easy way of doing it. Now, again, for some people, this might be challenging. But if you're just kind of hanging out here, you're like, super easy, then try a little harder. Try something a little harder. The way you can do that is you take the top leg and bring it down. You straighten the bottom leg this time, okay? Now you have a little more where you can control how intense it is. I definitely feel this is more challenging, more difficult. All right, good. Let's exhale, and we'll come back to down dog. So that's a modified side plank, okay? And then from down dog, we'll do the other side. So feet touch, and then we carefully roll over. Let's drop that bottom knee for now. And then inhale. Again, everything is stacked up as best as I can. So my right shoulder and right hip above the respective knees. My arms are basically in a 6 o'clock position. I'm looking up. All right, and then again, to take it up a notch. All right, now this might be what you do through the whole class, the rest of the class. That's perfectly fine. If this is challenging, repeating it will improve your practice, improve your pose. Good. Let's exhale. You can vinyasa back to down dog or come straight back. We'll inhale to the toes, to the hands. We exhale to the front edge of our mat. Inhaling, we come all the way up to standing. And then exhale our hands to the heart. let's continue to add complexity and difficulty to our tree pose. Again, you might be right here or even here. Okay, this might be where you're at today. Perfectly fine if that is challenging you. Otherwise, you're bringing that foot back into position. If we can bind, we go ahead and bind. All right, inhale that arm up. And now the next step is to exhale and fold over. Once you're folded over, see if you can grab the big toe of your left foot and draw yourself down. So it is a forward fold done standing. You're folding in half here. You're in a half lotus, and you're also stretching the back of that left leg. All right, beautiful. Our next inhale, let's come up as gracefully as we can. And we exhale and release. Other side. So same idea here. Bring that left foot into position as best as I can. Okay, and then I'll reach around. Sorry, I've got this microphone here. It can make it challenging to do some of these binds where you've got sometimes just centimeters between being able to do it versus not being able to do it. The technology can definitely get in the way. All right, and then once you've got the bind, your arm is up, you can option coming forward. That might be too much. So when you work and breathe at your edge, you're training your body and your nervous system and your mind. If you're just falling the entire time, if you're way above your pay grade, out of your wheelhouse, you're not really learning anything. You're just sort of flailing. And then if you do everything perfectly, you're also not learning anything. You're not growing. You're not improving your health in the way that you could. All right, let's inhale. Come on up with control. And we exhale and release. Good. Inhale, standing back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow, handstand. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. Vinyasa back to downward facing dog. All right, let's take a look at our next pose. Very challenging, but don't be afraid to try. Okay, we inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, bend the arm and place the leg as high up on the arm as you can. Straighten that leg, look forward, not down, and lift the back leg up. That's called Ekapada Kondyanasana. Okay? If you can do it, great. If not, don't worry about it. Place the foot between the hands. Again, I'm going to turn just for the sake of the camera. And then we inhale up into Warrior Two. Exhale here. And then inhale to Reverse or Peaceful Warrior. Now the key is keep the legs the same. It's just the upper body. Look at my lower body. It does not move at all. I do not straighten this leg. I don't shift around in the hips. The stretch is here. All right, I need to feel that stretch. I'm trying to also lengthen this left side as well. Good. Let's inhale up. Exhale up. Inhale to Stupa. We exhale, face the opposite direction. Inhale, Reverse Warrior. Stretch that waist. Good. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, Reverse Warrior. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, Stupa. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, Reverse Warrior. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, Stupa. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, Reverse Warrior, and exhale, bottom of the push-up. All right, side two, feet touch. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, place the leg on the arm, straighten it, look forward, not down, and lift up. Ekapada Kondyanasana, first variation. Good. Then plant the legs. Again, I'm going to turn just for the sake of the camera. Inhale up to Warrior Two. All right, good. Exhale there. Inhale, Reverse Warrior. Make sure you feel it here. You might feel in this leg as well. Good. Exhale, come on up, warrior two. Inhale to stupa. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, stretch your side. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, stupa. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, stretch your side. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Stretch the waist. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Stretch the waist. Good. Then exhale all the way down. Bottom your push-up, making your way back to downward dog. Okay, now we're back in down dog. Let's take a look at the classical side plank. Feet touch, all right? Then we roll toward that right hand, stacking heels, knees, hips, shoulders. Now again, the tendency is this. Does that look like a plank to you? No. Okay, so hips are down. Arms are in a 6 o'clock position. Neck is a natural extension of the spine. My head's not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm reaching out through the crown of the head, looking up if possible. Again, if I feel unsteady, top foot comes forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet touching, and then roll to the other side. Make sure that shoulder is engaged, okay? Shoulder is engaged. Watch those hips. They're not dropping down. They're not lifting up too much. Good. There can be some shaking. I'm feeling shaking in my body. That's perfectly fine. That's very good for you. All right? Good. Exhale, come on down, Vinyasa, or come straight back to downward facing dog. Guys, you're doing awesome. Let's inhale to our toes, fill the lungs there. We exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Inhale to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, let's take a look at this. So again, we're building complexity. We're doing things we've already learned how to do. And again, I might still be doing tree pose. That is perfectly fine. Let's see if we can do toe stand now. Same position of the leg. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, bend the knee. And try coming down. There should be no pain in either knee as you do this. Come down to balance on the toes. Can you bring your hands to the heart and maintain that balance? Again, steady eyes, steady breath, steady pose. Good. Let's inhale. We'll come all the way back up if we can, as gracefully as we can. And we exhale, release that side. Side two, left leg comes into the half lotus position. Again, if I wasn't able to do those other things, I can play around with this again. You know, try and try again. When you fail, your body learns by trying again. If that was easy, then let's try the toe stand. Let's see how far we can get. I want you to fail at least some of the time in this class. I don't want you to be able to do everything perfectly. Okay? If we can do everything perfectly, it's called a performance. It's not a yoga performance. It's a yoga practice. It's practice when we are doing things that we can do perfectly, comfortably, easily. All right, inhale, let's come back up. And exhale, release. Inhale, arms up, back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, bottom of the push-up. Making your way back to downward dog. Okay, we're in downward dog. Let's bring those feet to touch. We're gonna inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, right knee to the right arm. Touch it as high as you can. Take a breath there. Inhale that leg up and back. Exhale the knee to your nose, chin, or forehead. Touch if you can and take a breath. Inhale that leg up and back. Exhale to the opposite arm as high as you can. Touch Take a deep breath. Good. Inhale the leg up and back. And exhale as you lunge. From there, inhale, come on up to warrior two, which we've done many times so far. Exhale here. Inhale, straighten the front knee, pivot the hands. And as you exhale, reach forward and lengthen both sides of the body as much as you can. And then pivot your arms into a 6 o'clock position for extended triangle pose. Both the left and the right waist are long. Left and right legs are straight. Both heels are on the ground. I'm looking up. If I can, again, my neck is just a natural extension of the spine. You can have the hands as I have them. You can put your hand on a block. It's fine if you want to grab your shin. Perfectly fine with me. You might even come all the way to the ground. Common mistakes here are rolling the shoulder forward or collapsing in the ribs, right? Look, I can touch the ground. So what? My posture's a mess. All right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep all this openness and integrity. Good. Let's inhale back up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel, bottom of the push-up. All right, side two, feet touch. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee, left arm as high as we can. Let's take a breath. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, center. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, opposite arm as high as we can. Take a breath. Good. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, lunge. Again, I'm going to turn. And then inhale to warrior two. You don't need to turn. Exhale here. Inhale, straighten that front knee. Pivot the hands open. Exhale, what we're doing here is we're lengthening, 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 lengthening. Once I can't go any further, then I just pivot and I'm in my triangle pose. Okay. Looking up. Shoulders are softened, right? Even though the arms are active, I can soften those shoulders a bit, soften the jaw and the face. Breath is deep, rhythmic, and slow. Good. We inhale, come back up to warrior two, and we exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. You could put that arm balance in that we learned earlier, Ekapada Kondyanasana, first variation. I should have mentioned that on the first side. Okay, everybody. So let's take a look at another side plank. Okay, so this is doing tree in side plank, which is a pose that, again, we've been looking at today. So let's bring our feet together and we roll over into our classic side plank. All right. And then if I want more challenge, I take the top foot and I place it into a tree pose. All right. Now, again, when I do that, I don't want to collapse here, not lifting my hips way up. Again, it's a plank. There's basically a straight line on this side of my body. All right, good. Let's exhale back to our down dog. We'll take a breath there. And then let's look at tree pose in side plank on the other side. Feet touch. Roll over. I want to first come into my side plank, make sure that that has integrity. And then if it does, I can add the foot. You can also feel free to grab this foot if that's helpful. So don't be afraid of using your arms to get things where you want them to be. Good. Exhale, come on down. Again, you can vinyasa or go straight back to down dog. That is your choice or your prerogative. Let's inhale to our toes. And as we exhale, we step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Let's inhale all the way up to standing. And we exhale our hands to the heart. Let's continue to add complexity and difficulty to our, what started out as a tree pose, right? It's very far from tree pose now. Okay, now we see if we can add an arm balance to this. Okay, so I'm going to turn just again for the sake of the camera so you can see me. So from here, I come down, hands to the ground, shoulder width. I bend the arms deeply. Then I place my left and my right shin against my bent arms. I look up and not down, and then gradually lift the back leg up. Okay, so I'm in a half lotus crow pose here. Taking a few breaths and really trying to make sure my breath stays even and smooth. All right, good. So from there, we inhale back up and exhale, release the legs and the arm. Let's try the other side, right? So left leg into position. Again, I can stop at any point where I find that challenge. All right, but if I've done everything to this point, then let me see if I can at least bring my hands down. And then if I can, let me see if I can bend those arms. If I can do that, I put the shins on the back of the arms. If I can do that, I begin to play around with my weight. Can I put enough weight on the hands so I can lift my leg and maintain my balance? Maybe not, and that's okay. All right, we inhale, come back up. And exhale, release, beautiful. Inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow or handstand. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to your downward facing dog. Okay, in downward dog, feet touch. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, right knee, right arm. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, to the center. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, opposite arm. Bend the arm, straighten the leg, lift the back leg up. Ekapada Kondyanasana, second variation. Okay? Maybe not today, and that's fine. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, come on up. Warrior two. Exhale here as you sink into it. Inhale, straighten the front knee. Again, this is all stuff we've learned. Exhale, triangle pose, extended triangle. Good, establish your triangle. Bend the front knee, look down. Exhale, come off the back leg. Lift that back leg up, flex the foot, point the toes, knee, and hip to the left wall. Stack the hips and shoulders just like we did in side plank. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing how everything we've done today is interrelated. For more challenge, you bend the top knee, reach back, grab the foot, Chapasana. For even more challenge, lift this left arm up, extend it forward, okay? Good, exhale, bottom your push-up, making your way back to down dog. Again, I'll turn just for the sake of the camera. Feet touch, inhale, left leg, exhale, high up on the arm. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, opposite arm. Bend the arm, kick the leg out, lift the back leg. Okay? Good. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, sink into it. Inhale, straighten the front knee. Exhale, triangle. Good. Take a deep breath there. Bend the knee. Exhale. Balancing half moon. All right, notice how I'm firing up. This leg is not down here, right? It's up here. The toes, knee, and hip are pointing to the wall. For more challenge, in other words, this is, within my range, can do it fairly easily. I reach back, I grab the foot. Now I'm working my balance. And again, for more challenge, I lift the left hand up and look up. Might be too much, that's okay. A little more than I can handle. But that's exactly what I want, my practice. I don't want to be all pretty and perfect and have other people gawking at me, because then it's a performance. All right, good. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. Make our way back to downward facing dog. All right, let's take a look at one more side plank. Feet touch. Roll over to the right hand. Okay, from here we see we can lift the left leg up. I can't do it very high. It's just, that's how I am. Some people can reach up, grab the toes, so just do the best that you can. Good, we exhale, come over to the other side. Same thing, This is called the starfish. Feet touch, roll over, side plank first. Again, you can do any variation, but if you want to try this last, I think it's the most challenging one. We lift that leg up for the starfish. Good. Exhale, down dog. Let's come down onto our belly, or not onto our belly, onto our knees, and take a child pose. Okay, come into child pose. Taking a few deep breaths there. We've done a lot of work on our sides, so let's give them a bit of a stretch. Staying in child pose, take a nice deep breath. As you exhale, walk your hands over to the left. And then breathe into your right waist and ribs. So lots of length in your side. Your knees might be together or apart. Whatever feels better, more stable in your body. Good. We inhale, come back through center, and we exhale over to the other side. Let the hips stay where they are, but move those shoulders over, bringing your ribs away from the crest of your pelvis, stretching the obliques and the intercostal muscles. Good. Inhale, come on back, and then exhale there. Inhale to tabletop, cross the ankles, and exhale. Inhale, extend the arms and legs, and exhale as you roll back. Good. Once you get there, draw the legs in. Let's give them a squeeze. Let's make a few circles with our knees. Do a few in each direction. Then we'll extend the arms out to the sides like a T. Keep the knees just as they are and drop them to the left. Looking to the right, coming into Jathara Parivartanasana. Let's release any kind of breathing techniques. So just let that breath be natural now. Relax. Let it go however it wants to go. So inhale those knees back to center, and we will exhale them off to the other side. Good. Let's inhale the knees back to center. We'll grab hold of our feet for a little happy baby. So you can keep your knees bent and draw down on the feet. Maybe you can touch your knees to the ground. Not that that's important, but it can be a nice stretch. You can take the legs out. So one at a time. You can bring them both out together, pull them apart, pull them overhead. This is a nice back stretch if you're holding your legs. Okay. If you want to do a quick inversion here, you can do that as well. And then when you're ready to relax, you come down onto your back, extending your legs, extending your arms, closing your eyes. And I've got a little bit of time to guide you through a quick body scan, which in psychology, I think they call it progressive relaxation. In yoga, it's called yoga nidra. So very, very relaxing, all right? So all you have to do is make yourself comfortable and then commit to a few minutes of stillness. Once you're in position, again, continue to allow your breath to just be perfectly natural. You're not trying to control it anymore. And bring your focus or attention down to your toes. Just feel what's there. It might be a sort of a tingling sensation. You might feel heat or vibration. Whatever, however you describe it, whatever you feel, just notice that. Then the ankles, same thing. The knees. The pelvis. Abdomen. Chest. Fingers. Wrists. Elbows. Shoulders. The throat. Chin. Face. Head. The back of your head. The neck. Shoulder blades. Back. The upper arms. Lower arms. The back of the hands. The buttocks. The back of the thighs. The calves. Both heels. And the soles of both feet. Now the entire body. Feel the whole body relax, resting. All right, everyone, I want to thank you for joining me. Please take the next few minutes to continue your relaxation. Hopefully I'll see you in the next class, which is Yin Yoga, which starts in 15 minutes. Otherwise, I will hope to see you next week or maybe in a in-person class. If you have any questions for me, or if there's some way that I can help support you at this time, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful week. Thanks again.